Hello and welcome to the November garden tour. I have managed to pick the windiest morning that we've had yet, I'm sure. So sorry, there is a little bit of noise from the wind. It does get better at points and hopefully you can still hear me, and at least it's quite funny just watching all the plants blow around. But I hope you enjoy this video. Good morning, it is the beginning of November, so time for the November garden update so I can let you know what's growing, what's going well and what's not going so well. It's about 8:30 and the sun is shining, it's a little bit chilly and it's a little bit windy, so hopefully you're going to be able to hear me okay. I'm just at the top of the land by the driveway and I will walk you through now. We are just in the midst of our olive harvest and hopefully today is going to be the last day. So this is the first flower bed, still looking quite happy. Most of the cosmos here have finished, the zinnia are looking good. The calendula have had a new lease of life since we've had the rain. They don't seem to be struggling with the drop in temperature. This bed really needs some weeding. But yeah, it's looking quite happy, and excitingly this is my hibiscus and the calyxes, I think they're called calyx, are starting to come up, so this is what you make the tea from. So let them get a bit bigger. I've never actually grown them before and I thought it would be a flower that then turned into this, but no, it just grows straight up like this. This one's struggling a little bit. And the amaranth is all in flower now. That's very happy, so we're collecting the seeds off that soon, hopefully. And then here is the other one, and all these beautiful flowers have come out recently. They are just amazing. My hawthorn tree is really not happy, but I'm hoping it's still got leaves on, it's still got buds, so it's going to be fine. But what I'm starting to think with here is whether to actually pull up the tiles and let it be a little bit wilder, because I feel like it looks a little bit odd at the moment and I'm not going to continue the beds along. We shall see. We shall see what happens. The agave settled in really nicely and this is just the potting shed basically. So here is bed number 1, and again the calendula is just loving the autumn weather, and the black-eyed Susans are still here. We've got onions. These are ones that I planted from seed in trays and they are doing quite well. And then the chickpeas are also pretty happy. We've had some flowers which have now turned into little chickpea pods, so just leave them to dry on the plant and then you can pick them, and they've just got 1 or 2 little chickpeas in and they're so soft. So I'm not sure if they're going to get taller than this. They didn't in the summer, but whether that was just because they were struggling. But my support thing here is working quite well, and if they grow I'll just put in another string. Then the peas are also in flower, which has made me really happy because I just love pea flowers so much and I love fresh peas, and I've never had peas in the autumn before. There's a little pea pod. So yeah, I'm super happy with them. I've never done the early planting of peas, so you get them earlier in the spring, so we'll see how they go, see how they survive over the winter, and then I will definitely plant some more at the end of winter, so just seeing how this goes. But my structure here is not working so well, so I think I'm going to do the same as I've done with the chickpeas and do more angled, horizontal string rather than doing it vertically, because it's just pulling it down and it's pulling the poles in as well. So yeah, I think that system definitely works better, and I'm going to do that with everything this year and put in lots of these good sturdy posts. I've got a couple of cabbages here that I also grew these ones from seed. Something is munching them. This one is the sacrificial at the edge. I did find a caterpillar on them the other day, so I think this is caterpillar damage rather than slugs, but we'll see. I've got a lot of cabbages, so hopefully we'll still get plenty. And then here the Phacelia, which is a green manure, is getting really big. Didn't think it would grow quite this big, so I should have given it a bit more space. And then some onions that I direct sowed the seeds. They're coming up okay, but I would definitely don't think I'm going to direct sow seeds for pretty much everything, to be honest. I find it so much better growing everything in trays and then transplanting out. It's just better for managing spacing and seeing how things are growing and whether they are actually growing, because I also sowed a load of coriander seed all along here and nothing has come up, and it just needs a lot of weeding now. Whereas if I planted to tray, I would have known not to have used this space for them. And then also I direct sowed some, I think this is beetroot, which is coming up okay, but again the spacing isn't how I want it to be, so yeah, no more direct sowing. Have got a rogue potato growing here and a rogue cosmos, but yeah, bed one is doing okay. It's doing quite well actually, just needs a little bit of weeding, and then I'm gonna find something to put in where coriander hasn't come up. Oh no, hopefully the wind's not catching too much. Here's bed number 2. The Mizuna's doing really well as always. I've left some of it that's gone to flower. And the spinach here is growing really slowly. I can't remember how slow spinach has grown before for me, but this just does feel quite painfully slow. This one is really starting to pull through, but they've been in like 6 weeks now, so maybe I'm just getting used to Mizuna growing so fast. And then the 2 chickpeas that planted themselves are doing okay. We did have a couple of flowers, but they're definitely not as strong as the other ones I planted. Shall see. And then I also planted some coriander that I'd grown from seed in trays, and that's struggling too, so I had read that I could try growing some coriander at this time of year, but it doesn't seem to be working very well. There's some really young growth there, so maybe if it was more sheltered or in a greenhouse you could have fresh coriander, but definitely not exposed out here. The rogue beans are doing okay. These ones are doing okay. A lot of them we've had a few cold nights and probably a bit of a frost quite early on, so some of the beans have died, which is fine because I've not planted them, but leaving them go because they're fixing nitrogen into the soil anyway. But yeah, beans can't be planted this time of year. Again, this was a bed I directly sowed some seeds into, and the only thing that's really come up is these cabbages, and again the spacing is not great. I had some onions in here, and I think there might be one there, and I did some beetroot there, I think, some more onions, and yeah, it's not been a success. So I've planted some more beetroot that I had in trays there, which I then also forgot to water because it's November and it's not raining. I kind of forget that it's not raining because it's colder, so yeah, need to get on top of that, and a watering system is a priority this spring for sure. But then I've also just planted a row of more cabbages here that I planted into trays. Here I've got some sweet potato slips that my friend Bee gave me, and they were doing well, and then I think they've been gotten by the cold and the frost as well. So I'm going to leave these and see what happens, because this often happens when you're growing potatoes in the spring. The top will get caught out by the frost and then that dies, and then they do grow again. So we'll see, but maybe it's not the best time of year for sweet potatoes. I'll see. I've never grown them before, so I am excited to grow them, but yeah, they've not done well with this cold, but they still look a bit alive, so we shall see. Here I've got lots of very happy cabbages. These bigger ones are ones that I bought plug plants of, and they're doing really well. I've got two types, but I can't remember. Yeah, I've got two different types, but sorry, I can't remember the names of them, but you can see the leaves are different, so we'll see how they grow. And then I did put a few smaller ones in that I had grown from seed, and you can just see the difference it makes buying plug plants. But yeah, it's always a joy growing from seed too. And then we're at the back of bed number 3. I was digging up this bit, just clearing the weeds, and I found a load of potatoes that I had obviously not harvested. So I actually just replanted them, see what will happen, because I've not planted any potatoes this autumn. And then in here I found a load of onion and garlic bulbs in the plant shop, which I was really happy to find because I've not seen them much here. So that's what's growing in here. When I first put them in, the birds were pulling them all up because I think they look like little worms when they're like this. But I managed to get them all back in, and there's quite a few growing there now. Some more row cosmos. There's more here, and I put a thicker layer of compost to hide them better from the birds. More row cosmos. Some lettuce that I just bought as plugs as well. So this was a bean, and as you can see the cold has got it, but I'll just chop it and that's fixed nitrogen into soil. These were some onions I planted from seed into trays, so you can see they're doing much better. And then these ones were dug up. I've put them back in, and I think that is either Frankie or Albi digging here, pulling these up. So they still had all the roots on, so hopefully they'll settle back in. And the blueberry that I'm pretty sure is dead, but I'm going to wait till the spring and see if it buds. Bed number 4, I've done a lot of work on this over the last month. So this is the one that has the lardosa beans down the middle. They have been gotten also by the frost, so I think I will cut them back and collect whatever seeds I can get from them. Yeah, they're looking like there's not much green left on them, but again, lots of nitrogen going in the soil here. And then this is all the garlic, the bulbs I found, and they've shot up really quickly. I wasn't really expecting them to come up that quick. And then I've planted cosmos down the middle. I think that's going to look really beautiful when they're all in flower. And then I've just put some phacelia in between this one to add some green manure, and then just a little happy pansy here. And then I've got some more of the onions. There was just a few left here, and then I did also get some shallot bulbs, so there's a few in there. And then here are some turnips that I keep calling radishes, the turnips that I had grown from seed in trays as well. And yeah, they're looking quite happy, and I love growing turnips because I just think they're the most beautiful vegetable when they're sat on the soil. And then there's just an empty bit here that I need to add some compost in. I was thinking maybe pop some carrots in there. I'm very late with my carrot seeds. And then this is the bed I'm next going to be working on. I have started at the bottom just where I have some established plants that needed some weeding and TLC. So the 2 blueberries that have just about survived this year, and some chives, and then I've just planted in some more Phacelia because I had loads of it in trays, and it looked like it needed to go in the ground. And then yeah, I'll finish off this bed. I'm using the string to get the straight lines for the tiles, and I've just spotted a rogue bean over there and a sausage dog growing at the end. And bed number 5, again, this one, they all need some work from here on out, but it's still growing. This is a loofah plant that's not looking too happy, but I'll show you the one by the house, which is exciting. But yeah, the marigolds are now, I think they're starting to struggle with the cold. They're definitely not as voluptuous as they were. The yellow ones are doing a bit better. And then I still haven't come and got these basil seeds. But here I have also still got my pepper plants, which I'm thinking I need to dig up and put in a greenhouse, but I'm not 100% sure. If you know, please let me know. But we've got quite a nice big one here. I think these are the Black Beauty ones, so they go this sort of darker colour. So yeah, should still get a few more peppers, which is nice because they struggled more over the summer from my lack of watering. They definitely need a lot of water, so I'm still watering them now in November. Crazy. And yeah, bed 7, I've pulled up all the tomatoes and it's just full of marigolds, so if I've got something to plant I will pop something in here, otherwise I'll just let this bed rest and I'll go get some more sheep manure from my neighbour and just cover that ready for the spring. And then the final bed number 8, again all the tomatoes have now gone, and I did, even though I need to weed and care for it, I did have some more cabbage plugs, so they've just gone in here and I can work around them. The fennel is still having a new lease of life, so I cut back all the old growth and it's flowering again, so that's interesting to see. Fennel's been a lovely plant to grow. I don't really like eating the bulb, but I love the smell of it, I love the seeds, and it's just a really beautiful flower that all the bugs love, so definitely worth growing at least one in your garden. The asparagus still growing strong, so just wait another 3 years and then we can eat some. But I mean, you have these really thin ones, so I do wonder if you could do something with them, but maybe it's not very good for the strength of the plant. But yeah, what beautiful foliage. Some sorrel still going, that's been in for a very long time now. Planted that in the spring, so it's never gotten too big, but it's a nice bit of salad leaf. The chilies are still pretty happy. Again, I think I need to dig these up and put them in the greenhouse, but we've got quite a few green chilies. I picked loads more red chilies from it the other day. There's another one. Lots of flowers still, so the cold hasn't hit the 2 chili plants yet. I mean, look how many chilies are on that one. The sage seems like it's struggling a tiny bit now, so, but I don't know, still quite happy. And then the lemon tree, this is the happiest lemon tree because probably it gets a lot more compost and water than any of the others. And then we've just got a borage plant here and a lot of weeds, and there's a big cucumber in the soil there. But yeah, we've got lupin plants, they self-seed themselves all over the place here. But yeah, this one needs a bit more TLC, but it's got some stuff growing in it. So what I'm finding this time of year is that I kind of missed one of the planting seasons. I think the end of summer I should have got more in, so we're not really eating much from the garden. There's lots I could make a salad with, but when it's cold you don't really want to eat salad. I did try some squashes and none of them survived, which is what you would be getting now in the garden, I guess. So that's one I'm really going to try and do much better with next year, because I love squash. We've been buying these beautiful Hokkaido pumpkins from Lidl, and I'm saving all the seeds because they're the best pumpkins ever. But I'll take you up to the messy house and show you what's going on with the beds up there. Just quickly I'll show you, there's a few of the cosmos are coming into flower that I planted here, and then the strawberry bed, I did lift most of them, but there are a few still here, like this one. I think that's a borage growing there, but I'm leaving this to sort of go wild now because it was too much having so many beds. But I've not lifted these ones yet, and there are so many strawberries growing. Actually that one's very nearly ready. So yeah, I'm not going to lift these now till they stop fruiting, because I mean, strawberries in November, that's amazing. Super happy about that. I'll go this way up to the house actually, because there's something exciting growing here. I found these plastic bags from our IKEA purchase, and these are perfect for storing olives, if you're wondering why there's plastic bags on our washing line. And this is the new roof for the bathroom we need to get on before the next rain. But look at this! This is a loofah, and it's the only one at the moment. So yeah, they definitely need more water. They didn't seem to like the summer much, and yeah, I'm definitely going to get at least one, which I'm chuffed about, but there's some more trying. I don't know if it's going to get too cold for them now, but I am so happy about that. So again, these are ones you just, I mean, you can eat this now, but you can leave them on the plant to dry out, and that's how you get loofah sponges. So this is just up by the cabin, and I forgot I'd planted a cucumber here. Look at that, it's so spiky and weird looking. But yeah, a random cucumber. But yeah, it's looking happy up here. The zinnias are all in bloom, and some Mexican sunflowers that have the softest stems in the world. I think the basil's now struggling with the cooler weather, and something is definitely eating it. And then over here is a lot of mess and a lot of plants that need to go out. Oh no, the hibiscus is struggling with the cold too. Need to get that in the ground, I think. But I have got some leeks growing here. I think that's the only thing I've planted this month, and I have tried to grow some courgettes. There's one coming through, but I don't know if that's a good time of year. So yeah, planting's not been much going on. I have put the turmeric and ginger in this little greenhouse though, and then I've got another taller one to build to put everything in. And then just over here, these are the lavenders that I grew from seed, so I've potted them on, and they're looking pretty happy, apart from this shouldn't be growing in here. Oh, I've got so much weeding to do. That is some parsley growing there. I've got a avocado experiment. Don't think he's growing. We shall see. Again here, the marigolds are starting to die back a bit, it seems, but this flower for an hour seems very happy. Not showing us any flowers today. There they are, all closed up. They open up for about an hour a day, hence the name. But I've got some seeds I can come and collect here. Oh, and this capsicum I planted. I actually don't know if this is just an ornamental or something you can use, but I thought it looked cool. So the beds up here I'm having a big think about after olive harvest, so they might get moved around, but I'll show you what is growing well anyway. This is an example of why I'm rethinking it, because I don't know if you can see because of the light, but my prickly pear plant is here, and with olive harvest we snapped a bit off, so need to replan what's going around the trees up here. But I have planted a lot of strawberries. I found a load of plug plants, so they've all gone in here, and then a few of them that I lifted from the other bed. And we have one strawberry here, and then there's some hibiscus in here too. So that's something I've been working on this month. And then this lovely flower bed, which is our view from the window, so I really want it to be very abundant here, but because with the olive nets going around, well, things haven't got too damaged, and we've got so many olive trees that there might be a few that we just end up leaving so that we can have a nice garden. But yeah, it needs some work here, but there's still a very strong basil plant, lots of flowers here. Oh, the chamomile's all starting to grow everywhere. It's been nearly a year since we have lived here, and I remember the smell of all the chamomile because it just grows in all the grass, and as you walk that's all you can smell, so it feels really nice having that come back up. But lots of lovely pansies here, and this is the best, I think is a petunia. I always get them mixed up, but it's the Starry Night one, just so beautiful. Happy time. I bought a blue cherry tomato plant because it was in the shop, so I figured maybe it would grow over the winter if I put it in a greenhouse. But I did eat one the other day because it was quite blue and it was disgusting, really bitter, so I think they need a bit more ripening to go, but whether they're not really the same as, you know, your red tomatoes in terms of flavour, we'll see. This is the Phacelia, which is a very slow grower. Basil here, and some more pansies. This plant has done so well this year. It kind of keeps dying back and then coming back to life, and the flowers are just stunning, and it seems to do well in all seasons. So yeah, definitely going to try and get some more of those, I think. These are the plants that Sian bought us. They've got really beautiful flowers. They're struggling a little to settle in, but holding on, and this one's gone to flower, which is really cool. Kind of reminds me a bit of a basil plant in a way. Lovely smelling oregano, and yeah, just some more flowers here. These are lovely. I moved these from near the house and it's done okay, but they're really beautiful. Felicia, I think this one's called. And some more zinnias. But yeah, this needs some love and some planning and some thought. But my coriander is going to flower. And the Mizuna I've been eating a lot of, the one that's planted up here in sandwiches. Parsley's doing really well with all this water and the cooler temperatures, and there's a few more that I planted there. Again, some really slow growing spinach and a few self-seeded basil plants. And then this is funny, I planted garlic as soon as we bought the land last December. I made a little bed here, and then it all just like died and disappeared, and now we've got loads of them shooting up, so I'm intrigued to see what happens here, because they're going to be a lot of garlic bulbs together that have been in the ground for a year, so that'll be interesting. And then there's a few pansies here that I grew from seed. I love pansies, and you can eat them, so eat the flowers. So yeah, that's this bed. Definitely in need of some love, but had to pick lots of olives instead. And then the last bit to show you is over here. Sausage sunbathing. So this is the giant orange amaranth that's growing up here, and I've had to tie it with a string because it all just sort of like collapsed out and was covering my basil and cosmos. But it's living up to its name. It's absolutely wild and enormous, and it's grown so fast in 2 months. So excited to see what we get from that. Apparently you can eat the leaves as well, but they're not very tasty. But I think if you got the younger ones and chop them up small in a salad or in pasta, they might be nice. But yeah, oof, what an amazing flower. So that is the garden in November. I'm gonna plant some carrot seeds and see what else I can get growing, and yeah, I think just lots of cabbage it's gonna be this winter. But yeah, it's really such a learning journey, and it's nice now that we're coming back round to having been here for a year, because everything I learned at the beginning of last year I can start implementing. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm a bit tired from all the olive picking and we need to get back to it now. So yeah, hopefully I've been coherent and the wind's not been too much of a problem. But yes, I hope you're all doing really well, and I will catch up with you soon.